The Sentry Expert seems complicated, but we're going to make it easy. To start, there are 4 unique sentries that this guy can place. They're the Crushing, Boom, Cold, and Energy sentries, and they will be placed in that order. Each of these has a unique attack that specializes against certain balloons, and the Energizer can skip any sentry depending on what balloons are on screen. For example, if the most threatening things on screen are ceramic balloons, the Sentry Expert will only place down Crushing and Cool sentries to deal with them, but if you throw in a Moab Class Bloon, the Sentry Expert will quickly change these out for energies, as the blimp is now the most threatening balloon on screen, and energy sentries deal tons of Moab damage. Now, there are a lot of scenarios that can change what sentries spawn, but we'll cover the main ones as we go over what each sentry does. To start, sentries are placed every 6 seconds, they last 25 seconds, and have 50 range. Crosspathing them with the middle path gives them 4 extra range and +1 damage to fortified and Moab class balloons, while crosspathing them with the bottom path gives them +25% pierce and the pinning effect. I typically make them 4 2-0s, as that extra damage is well worth it, especially since this is the better crosspath for sentry champions. Onto specific sentry types, the first is the Crushing Sentry. This guy shoots a spiked ball every 1.1 seconds that deals 2 damage to balloons, 6 damage to ceramics, and has 22 pierce. These turrets specialize in taking out ceramics and behave similar to a spike-a-pult in that their balls bounce off walls. As a result, they can perform well on maps with tons of obstacles like Cornfield. The second sentry type is the Boom Sentry. This guy shoots bombs every 0.9 seconds that deal 4 damage and have 30 pierce. They are great against dense clumps of balloons, but will be skipped if black or zebra balloons are considered to be the most threatening things on screen. Next, we have the Cold Sentry, which shoots ice balls at balloons every 1.5 seconds. These ice balls deal 1 damage, have 25 pierce, and freeze affected balloons for 1.5 seconds. This also applies the permafrost status to frozen balloons, making them move 50% slower after thawing out, and these guys will be skipped if white or zebra balloons are the most threatening balloons on screen. Finally, we have the Energy Sentry. These turrets shoot lasers every 0.57 seconds that deal 2 damage, 4 damage to Moab class balloons, and have 8 pierce. This sentry type is very useful in most scenarios, but will be skipped if purple balloons are the biggest threat. Now that we know what each sentry does, here are some fun scenarios that cause certain sentries to be skipped. We know that if black balloons are sent, the Boom Sentry gets skipped, and if white balloons are present, the Cool Sentry gets skipped. So it makes sense that if white and black balloons are present, both Cool and Boom Sentries don't get placed. However, the second we send zebras, only energy sentries get placed. Kinda weird. If lead balloons are coming your way, only Boom sentries will be placed, which is nice as they smoke these guys. And if purples are on their way, only Cool sentries get placed. This isn't ideal as they're not a great counter to them, but it's incredibly rare to only be facing purples, so it's not a real issue. And as for when to get the Sentry Expert, he can provide pretty good ceramic stalling and Moab damage, but this can usually be accomplished for less money. Additionally, having to wait for the correct sentries to be placed can be difficult on shorter maps where you don't have much time. Because of this, I typically only get the Sentry Expert if I plan on upgrading him to a Sentry champion in the late game.